You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians, creative people and media experts are empowered and inspired to broadcast their passion. SpeakOnRadio.com is a radio platform that has you in mind, bringing you not only inspiration, but practical solutions and opportunities to release your greatness. Tune in now at SpeakOnRadio.com. That is, SpeakOnRadio.com. You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians, creative people and media experts are empowered and inspired to broadcast their passion. SpeakOnRadio.com is a radio platform that has you in mind, bringing you not only inspiration, but practical solutions and opportunities to release your greatness. Tune in now at SpeakOnRadio.com. That is, SpeakOnRadio.com.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to The Simple Truth. The Simple Truth comes to you because you are fading away from the simple truth. So the wait is over. Let's talk, let's connect, let's see what is out there that is available for you and me equally. It was a long process for me to understand what's next. And surely I want to make it a lot shorter for you. Taking that process, which was locking in the very expensive speaking engagements I was delivering around the world, plus a lot more, and putting it all together into a live experience, I realized that I could make a real difference, a significant difference to a lot of people who are like me, who want to get their message out, to connect with their audience before they take anything or thinking of taking anything. They should be able to give and attract attention and attract people who need their solution. So sometimes it's a matter of courage and sometimes it's a matter of budget. Or both. So what is the truth about success? What is the real naked truth about success? Dalai Lama said once that actually the world doesn't need more successful people. What we need is more storytellers. Is that right? Because, you know, I remember I was almost 1,000 days ago, I was back in London, and from where I was, coming from United States back to London, I landed straight on a big stage. So it was quite weird for me, and I think it's weird for you, thinking now, how on earth was she landing on a stage? So it was just after my second book launch in North Carolina, the High Point University, where I came up with the idea of the simple truth. And I began to take a new direction in my life. And just to fall back a little bit. 2 months earlier, my publisher, an eminent thinker himself, had awarded my first book in Toronto, and I took this trip to do some thinking, some discovering, some mind searching. At the time, I had no idea what a mastermind is, but anyhow, I was taking that journey because I was told I can have it all, and I choose to believe it. So I wanted to understand what's next for me. So I retired from the business against my will. I had nothing else to think of all day long because nobody needed me anymore. So before my first book was published, if you ask me if I wanted to speak on stage from the same stage where President Bill Clinton was speaking, I would have said, you lost your mind. There's something wrong in your head. So I was working on a range of life projects all my life, like yourself. And those life projects, either they were my kids or my business, they all required my undivided attention at all times. You know that kind of project, you know, when you raise your children as a single parent or when you build your business as a lonely entrepreneur. And I wasn't sure whether I wanted to give all that up. Once my kids went from wearing shoes size 2 to shoe size 10 or 9 and 8. I like the idea of my children keeping my business alive and taking my business idea to the next level. Even I knew it wasn't going to be a walk in a park for them. It is not going to be a vacation for them because it was a vocation. So this is the challenge we are having as entrepreneurs. You know, we don't think of vacation, we think of vocation. So I retired somehow against my will. I was very young. I was 51 years old. And now today, actually, I'm 54 years young. I'm 54 today, and I feel younger than ever. And I want to give you that feeling. I wanted to give you what I feel in my heart right now, so you can feel it, so you could take it further, you could get younger, you could get better, a lot better, and get a lot more from your life. So at that point, I was feeling that I'm failing my children, I am failing myself, my life, is now they had to live the lonely life I was living. And I was wondering, what's next? So when I was invited ad hoc, it was an ad hoc invitation. I happened to be in that room, and I was invited to speak on stage. And I had to speak in front of a massive audience. There were almost 10,000 people. And I had no speech. I had nothing prepared. I just decided that that twist of fate was there for me so I could change my thinking. It was all for a reason. It was for me not to be the person I used to be, the busy person, the not think of myself person. And for once, I had to share my own story. I had to share my own story because I had no idea what else to say. So when thousands and thousands of people were coming at the break asking my professional advice, oh my God, that was so almost overwhelming, but I did not feel overwhelmed. I helped everyone and keep helping since. So when people were chasing me even to the restroom, in England we call it toilet, but in America they call it restroom, asking me, oh, I couldn't talk to you in the room, so I was following you here. It was hilarious. Anyway, but that experience hit me. The truth was coming home. The world is not enough. The world is not enough without you. The world needs more storytellers. And your story, even you feel is not important, is guaranteed going to make a huge difference in somebody else's life. I was one of the thousands of invisible entrepreneurs all my life. I was an expert, very talented. I had a vocation. I was putting all in my business. I was so passionate about it. I never had a holiday, ever. I never had a weekend. Over 3 decades, I was living my passion, my vocation without a vacation. I believe in my big idea, and yet I never been in a newspaper. How comes? Are you somebody like me, like the best kept secret, who nobody knows about it? Because if you are, please call in, make contact, connect with the people who have a story today. Ask them questions. They will tell you there is no big secret. You are the big secret. You are the best kept secret. And there is a shortcut. There is a template. There is a formula. There is a blueprint, which is a template for your own big idea. All we have to do is to allow you in, see what you have inside, that gift that is unique to you. You know that gift? You are given a birth, not the 1,000 gifts you think you have right now. The one gift, the unique gift, which is yours, and put your name on it, because that gift was given to you, so you can give it away. It is sinful to keep that gift to yourself. And unless you share it, nobody is going to benefit. I'm going to introduce now a very dear client and extraordinary entrepreneur. The powerhouse, I can call it, is a very young lady who got the courage to come on stage on this platform and tell you her story. After the break, please welcome Naomi. Naomi, hello. My word today is Naomi. How are you? How is London?
Fabulous. It's really good.
So Naomi, tell me, I read your book, which is an amazing book, and the title is Tender Love. And tell me, what is the word I got from your book is actually profit. So tell me more about your tender love for tendering.
Okay. So my book is about procurement, tendering to public sector contracts, and the term profit I use to describe the process in which I can help businesses and individuals win public contracts. So the P stands for processes, because public sector contracts involve loads of processes, which is often quite daunting for people. So what I do is I break it down and show people how to win public contracts without the change. I say relationships, which is people, because they're really important to get things done. And the public sector also values the contribution of individuals when it comes to tendering. O is for opportunity, because there's loads of opportunities there, and I want to say where to find opportunities. F is for finance, because there are financial considerations. I is for information. I explain lots of information and what you need to do. And the T is for so all these information, which as you said is and it's just a nice way of demystifying a very complex area, making it easy for people to enjoy public tendering and also
So this is all so exciting, Naomi, because I was looking into the tendering process myself years back, just before the Olympics, and it was no way I could go near. So tendering is the process of making an offer, creating a proposal, and expressing an interest in response to an invitation to or a request for tender. So there are lots of organizations out there who really need and seek other businesses to respond to their need, and they need a certain type of supplier for goods or services, and they will select people. The suppliers will make the offer or the tender, and when that meets their needs and provides the best value for money, they will win the contract. So please tell me, what is one secret that you can share with our audience right now, so you could of course invite them to your events and to the red carpet in Hollywood, where you are awarded the Hollywood Authors Awards on the 29th of August, and you are going to tell them a lot more. But for those people who are in our are listening to us right now, what is that one little secret you can share with them right now?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I actually worked on the Olympic project, so I was one of those people that helped to award the contract to build the Olympic Stadium. So it's ironic that you say that. And the interesting thing is that we did a lot of business, lots of small and medium enterprises, and we actually have to go out there to actively find people to bid the contract, because I think people were very frightened of the thought of bidding for the contract. They didn't know what to do. I think the secret is learn the process, and I think that's the biggest secret. It's not as daunting as one might think. It's a bit like driving a car. If you sit in a car, you don't know how to drive a car, you're not going anywhere. But if you get instructions on how to drive the car, how to move the pedals, how to move the gears, then you're laughing. And I think that's the secret. Learn the processes, and then you wouldn't find it too daunting. And you can go into those big contracts, be it the Olympics, the NHS, whatever. You can go in there, take in a and come out with it.
Wow, thank you so much, Naomi. I know you've been very kind to give us a couple of minutes today, and you are going to run and pick up your son. And I'm not going to ask more of your time right now. We are going to talk again in a perhaps in a couple of weeks' time when you are coming back from Hollywood. And you could tell us all about your red carpet experience and the connections, the high connections you are making there, the people who are so exciting that you will come all the way from London to meet them. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I congratulate you on your new book, Tender Love. And I'm looking forward to give you a big hug on the red carpet. Thank you, Naomi. Goodbye.
So much. Take care. Thank you.
I have at the other end of our conversations, somebody who wants to share with you something about their own story. And we have a little bit of a delay from the other end, but I will come back to you in a couple of minutes once my next guest is available.
You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians, creative people and media experts are empowered and inspired to broadcast their passion. SpeakOnRadio.com is a radio platform that has you in mind, bringing you not only inspiration, but practical solutions and opportunities to release your greatness. Tune in now at SpeakOnRadio.com. That is, SpeakOnRadio.com.
My next guest is a dear friend of mine from London. His name is John Kidwell. He's an award-winning author. He's a world-class entrepreneur, CEO and founder of EPICS, the EPICS Academy, writer at the British Society of back in England, and he dedicated his life to his passion, which is communication. Welcome, John. How are you today? How is the weather? We are not going to talk about the weather, don't we?
No, let's not talk about the weather.
Me. It's so nice to have you here, and I'm so excited about what everything is happening in your life right now. You are in the middle of this most amazing wave of opportunities, and I want you to tell us more. I want you to tell us the story of your latest book, The Moonlight Illusion, which made so many waves all over the world. So please tell me, how was the idea of this second book of yours born, and how long ago, and what happened since?
Indeed. First of all, happy birthday for today, by the way.
Thank you. I thought you'd never tell me that. You know, I'm 54 years young today.
Today, yes. Happy birthday. Hope you get a cake.
Thank you.
The idea,
very much.
The idea of the book came across by, I literally woke up one morning, and this is a real story. I woke up one morning and I thought, that's a really good idea. I'll write that down. And it was basically came out of, I don't know where it came from. It came out of the idea of looking at the way movies are made. My background is in film and TV and documentaries and pop videos in the 80s. And it came across by thinking about the way movies are structured and produced, and how that can be transferred to other businesses, and also how that can be transferred to, as a way of thinking and a way of a kind of a mindset of other people. So it actually helps them develop along the way. It developed from there, and it wasn't that very long ago. It was only about a month ago, but it's now developed into sort of something rather bigger, and it's now being obviously going to the Authors Awards at the end of August in LA.
So for sure, yeah, I'm going to meet you on the red carpet. How exciting is that?
It'd be great to be back in LA. I've been a few times. I love it there, and it's such a big place, but there's such a community there as well. And because my background is movies and television, I'm in my element really. So it's I love it there. Certainly the weather.
So tell me, John. So you've been working hard to create a business over decades, and you've been given so much time and energy to promote your cause. You know, your message about yourself, about your gift to a wider audience. So why is this book working for you? Why this book is allowing you to reach a wider audience? What happened? What type of book is this? What do you want from this book? Have you started writing this book with the end in mind?
I didn't have it thinking about writing with the end in mind, but what I've realized along the way is my background is mainly in freelance television cameraman for quite a few years. And then I actually went into work for a company for about, well, call it 9 years. And I realized the way, very careful what I say, but the way people who are employed in a company think differently, or certainly the management think differently to how the people around them work for them and with them. In a movie, what happens is it starts off with an idea, and then it becomes there's the traditional ways of financing and bringing talent together, bringing the very best talent together, all working together, having a load of resources, having deadlines, the usual things of any business. But the way it works is much more efficient in many ways. But bizarrely, at the end of it, all movies is effectively, if I put it bluntly, it's coloured light making noises on a wall, basically. So intrinsically, there's no sort of big building at the end of it, but it's one of the most successful businesses throughout the whole world. And because I've seen it from two different points of view, where there was, from an employee and an employee, working for myself, it's a very different mindset. And I think I realized as more I wrote the book, how I was actually, I don't know if you've heard of a guy called Sir Ken Robinson. He's an English guy. He lives in LA now.
Yes, I did. He lives in LA. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. I realized I was reading more and more of his books over the years. This is before I even thought about writing this book. And I realized that the way we are educated from school and from childhood is not designed to be as an entrepreneur. It's designed to be an employee. So if you want to get out of that and actually become successful, like Sir Richard Branson and Sir Ken Robinson and a whole bunch of people, you need to think a bit differently. And the way movie people think about things in the world is different to how people think as an employee, as in going to a job and going to the same place each day, and they're an employee. There's not the same motivation in many ways, because when the film is being made, or the documentary or pop video is being made, there's an intensity there, and everybody's working together towards the end goal, effectively, of exposing something about an inch wide with light and making sound on it, basically, which sounds very blasé, but that's ultimately what it is. But what you get in the end result is a vision that can change people's lives. If you watch some films that can literally change people's lives, and it can change the way people think about things. So I thought it was a very powerful thing. And I decided to write a book based on that. And literally, it was a short idea. Then I actually spoke to you about it probably about a month ago now. I'm not exactly sure. And you said, that's brilliant. You should write it. So I've actually written it now within that time. And it's obviously been put up for for one of the awards, which is quite spectacular, really. And now I go around teaching people, basically what I've been doing the past few years since I left this company, was teaching people the skills I know about how to make videos, and actually so they can do it for themselves. And ultimately, that is one of the basic things that people need to know nowadays, actually talking to video cameras and talking and actually getting themselves known. And it's the only really way to get yourself known on a big platform nowadays. Sorry, I'm rambling on here, aren't I? Is there something
No, you're good. No, keep talking. It's fascinating. Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just realised, my background, the people I went to school with, I go back now and again and see them after, every decade or so for school, for birthdays, and the people. I mean, this is a story that actually kind of started the whole thing of actually getting me into film TV. Was when I was in 17, I had my chemistry teacher saying, what do I want to do with my life? And I said, I wanted to be a BBC cameraman. And his words were, well, if you do want to go around a flowery tie, that's all very well. But if you want to have a real job, then you want to get into accountancy or maybe a research chemist or something. And I said, I don't want to do that. I want to be a cameraman. So basically, the people I went to school with largely have had work in accountancy, and we all need accountants, but they've been in banking, and there's been a banking crisis, and a lot of them are basically bored out of their minds now. This is my personal friends, so it's not everybody, but people must love accountancy to do it. But they are kind of bored, and every time I go back, they say, well, what have you done? And I said, well, I've worked in 65 countries. I've driven across the Sahara Desert, and I've worked with Bon Jovi, and I've worked with Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and shot a Pink Floyd video in my house. And they went, you what? All I do is sell pensions to people. And I said, well, that's a choice. So they chose an employee sort of route, which in one way is very safe and long term. But is it nowadays? I mean, 30 years ago, that was the idea. But I think nowadays, I don't think it is. I think certainly banking, I think there's a banking crisis going on. And I think banking has changed in 30 years, for example. Engineering has changed in 30 years. My dad was an engineer. So, yeah, I think you have to think differently. This is essentially what I'm saying is you have to think differently. And to think you'll be paid, it sounds very morbid, but after you retire, to think you'll have a pension, certainly in this country, after you retire, is a bit unlikely to have anything to live on. So you really have to think a different way and actually work for yourself. Maybe working for an employer, but also have something else as well, working for yourself. And once the work you do for yourself overtakes the employer salary or money, well, you've got some decisions to make then. Do you do something you really want to do, or do you work for another company who you may work with people who you may not like, or there's certain things about working for us from personal experience. There's plenty of things working for a company that you just have to bite your lip sometimes and go, well, I know this is wrong, but I've been told to do this, so I'll go and do it. But I know it's going to end in failure. But it did. And I saw that quite a lot, and I just got so frustrated with the idea. That ultimately I pretty much left about a year and a half ago now, and I've never looked back, and I've been enjoying myself, and I've been changing my life to that end, and actually helping other people to change their life as well.
So you see, John, I see from I was reading your book, and I was really impressed by your not your life philosophy. It's more by the process you created for other people to use it as a template and change their own life if they feel there is more to life. So obviously it's a choice. Success, happiness, everything is a choice. And you have to live by the consequences. And one thing I realized talking to you, masterminding with you so many times, is that you are one of the rare people who understand that your audience doesn't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So it's like when you put your message out there, of course now we replace the Egyptian habit of writing on walls 2,000 years ago on writing on Facebook. But really and truly is about breaking that wall, the wall you got around you, and getting on the walled wall and just unbury yourself from where you've been buried alive by your own choices, and show yourself in your own colors and conquer that wall, which is your own fear, and put your flag on top of it and say, this is me, I got this. And I'm not apologizing for being myself. I'm myself. This is all I got. And I'm giving myself to you so you could get better, a lot better. So to me, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone. It is not comfortable. Everybody knows that. And actually being outside your comfort zone. Go as far as you can and see what is available out there. When I left my comfortable home in London, I went away from home just for this particular reason to discover what is available out there for entrepreneurs, single parents with 2 jobs, made redundant professionals, acting professionals, all the people who got a big gift, a big idea, and yet nobody ever heard of them. So I know that in your first book is all about getting the message out, and is all about making yourself available and learning the skills and using the tools you are making available to your clients, so they could connect with like-minded people. And like yourself, you are the president of the Academy of Significance in London, so you connect with so many people, and we are organizing events all over the world. We are going to India. It's a massive event there early next year, and so many exciting things. There are a few events. There's one in Hollywood on the 29th, 31st of August, and then we are going to Rome, and we do lots of exciting things together just to share the light and show people that, in my case, if I can, you can. So it's all to do with making yourself available and taking yourself out from that nothingness into greatness without being afraid that you'll be judged by others. My point is that tomorrow, you are launching your new radio show, which is called Radio Moonlighting. So tell me, what is this radio show about?
This is all kind of quite interesting, because this is talking about getting outside your comfort zone. When I got into television originally, it was actually to be behind the camera and not being in front of a camera or be in front of a microphone. And I could quite happily walk around after working with, say, Julia Roberts on Notting Hill. I could walk out the door and nobody knew who I was. So getting out your comfort zone is part of it, and actually being on stage is part of it. So yes, the program at this time tomorrow, 6 o'clock tomorrow, London time, is going through some of the principles I've brought throughout my book about how people can change their lives, and how the principles of, yes, it does mean getting slightly out of the comfort zone, but if you want something to change, something needs to change. And over the years, I've been to many seminars and learned a lot over the years, and this is now filtering in, and how people can bring their mindset or the way they do things and do something slightly different every day. They can actually radically change their lives. The book is based on the movie principle, MOVIE, and the first M is mindset, which is one of the most important parts of it. If you think of yourself as not having a story, then that's crazy, because everybody's unique. Everybody has a story. And as you said before in intro, if people are out there and they have their story within them, or their information inside them, and they're not sharing it, that's criminal. It should be out there. And people who don't think they have a story or don't think they have a talent, they do. You do. So we are based, a lot of time from school, and say we're designed to be employees, and actually to break that is actually quite difficult sometimes, and getting out of a comfort zone, because everything is designed for people to be an employee, as I say. And we do need employees. I'm not saying don't jack it with a day job and just start doing something particularly, but there is a certain consistency that the world needs, and people are happy being an employee. That's fine. But I think for people who feel there's a better life out there for them, there's a way. And if they look at the book and actually read it and actually implement the things I put in the book, they could literally radically transform their lives for the better. And actually, you'll be thinking a different way in terms of relationships. And it's not just about business, by the way. It's actually predominantly about how you think about things, and how you really need to change a mindset, and that you need to change the way you think in terms of what people tell you, and be a little bit of a rebel.
Go Yes. So I totally agree with you, and I know there is not more than 100%. So I agree with you 100%. I experienced that myself, and I remember when I was led to believe that when you want to achieve your goal, there is only one type of goal, one category, and I was led to believe. So for decades, I believe that all you can achieve is an external goal, like buying a new car, buying another property, having a holiday, which I didn't. I never had the time for holidays. So, but that says it all. So people are led to believe that there is only one type of goal to achieve. And when they set their goal, it's all about that external achievement, which is so wrong at every single level. Because actually the focus have to go inside and see what is that you got, whatever it is your field, whatever it is your talent, your gift, your unique mastery. You have to take that to it's your duty to share that and take that to the next level and master. That should be mastering your own talent should be your true goal in life. So do whatever it takes. And I think that starts with being who you are. Because opening doors for people who feel locked inside themselves is not something you can do for them. You could open the door, you can invite them in, but it's actually up to them to walk inside, to become the master of their industry, to become the authority in their field, because they've been shut down by life adversities, and at some point or another they will feel like a failure. I don't believe in failure. I think it's a invention to pin you down. It's a word that society invented to pin people down and make them feel that they don't need to take decision for themselves because somebody else will take a decision for them. So they will be transformed from the cause of their own life. They will become the victims of their life. So it is a tough call, and I appreciate your courage and your energy to open that door for your audience, because it is almost like performing a CPR because it has to come from your heart to their heart, from your mind to their mind, from your words to their thoughts, to revive the great spirit inside every single one of us, to awaken them to what is available within them more than outside, in the external world. So they can bring something of their own into the world right now, because the world is not enough without them. And if the world is not perfect, there is nobody to be blamed for outside yourself. It's like it's this big puzzle, and there are so many missing pieces because people are afraid of becoming the masterpiece. So I congratulate you on your decision at taking this opportunity, who at first looked like a challenge for you, in launching your own radio show, Radio Moonlighting. I cannot wait to listen. I will be there all the time. I'll ask you questions, and I hope your audience will do the same. So see you tomorrow. John, thank you so much for your great story, and thank you for everything you are doing for our community. Thank you, John. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have you ever heard that expression, oh, think outside the box? Because I heard it so many times and I never could really understand what they mean. I know it's my poor English, but hey, I tried since. I could never, ever understand the meaning of the box. It's like, what box? Think outside the box? There is no box. So I want you to welcome our next guest, which is a very dear friend of mine, a person that dreams big. When she dreams. And guess what? She thinks there is no box. She's on the same page with me. So I want you to get to know better my next guest, because once you listen to her story, you might see yourself. You might see yourself like the big dreamer who had no choice but to bury alive their dream. You are going to see that actually the choices you are making today are going to transform your past, because your past is going to happen as soon as tomorrow. Tomorrow, today, is your past. And tomorrow, future. But your future starts today. I'm not playing with words. It is a fact. All we have in life is now. That's all we got. So the way we live right now is how our past is going to be tomorrow, is how our future is going to be tomorrow. And what we leave behind, what is the legacy we leave behind for our children, because we are not really owning anything. We came just with a gift, and we are going to leaving that gift behind. And that's the only way I know. And that's why I want you to bring you live somebody who is absolutely unstoppable in her belief that when you dream, you better dream big. Here it is, Sarah Lister from London. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Marina?
I'm very excited. The simple truth is very simple. And I want to share with our audience what it takes to understand that your past is not your destiny. And all we got is right now. And I believe that your story, who inspired me, is going to inspire so many people around the world. And there is a reason, of course, you've been awarded the Hollywood Authors Award, and you are going to Hollywood. But before we are talking about what's happening on the red carpet for you, next, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your story coming from Africa, going to Hollywood.
Going to Hollywood. It's my story from Africa to Hollywood, and it's an incredible story. Not because I say it, but because I choose to believe that there's nothing possible, right? And it's all dependent on you oneself. And a lot of people may have a problem with that, because I was listening to your previous guest, John Kidwell, talking about the mindset that we adopt, and some of the teachings from Sir Ken Robinson, I think it is. And I've also listened to him, and it's absolutely amazing, like the mindset that we carry, and some of the values and the beliefs that we hold. We believe they are actually ours, but the reality is they're not. We have picked them up, school, teachers, parents, aunts, uncles, and the people we surround ourselves, we are surrounded by when we're growing up. And so we adopt those values to be our own. And a lot of the times they're very limiting. And growing up in Africa, I mean, a lot of people, if they were to look at my childhood, they'll probably say, oh my goodness, poor African child. But I remember very, very happy childhood, not bad things, but because I had people who loved me, because I had my cousins, because I lived in an open place where I could go to the forest and play, where I could walk to my cousin's house. And my mother didn't really care whether, there was anyone walking me there. It was for freedom. And yes, I didn't have so many things, but the one thing that I believed that I had was the ability to dream. I could dream. I mean, as a child, I could dream anything. And I did that. And to now see it, a lot of that become a reality is absolutely amazing. It really is amazing. And it's one of the saddest moments of my life. Actually wasn't even really sad. It's actually finding myself very, very ill in a hospital bed with no excuse not to die. Okay, sounds really crazy. Like absolutely no excuse not to die. I didn't have family. I didn't have children. I didn't have dependents. I went through everything, and I realized actually I had no reason to say to God, can I leave because of this? I really didn't have any. I didn't have anything to say, let me leave, except one thing. I dreamed and believed so strongly with every cell in my body that I was meant to come to England. That's the only reason I have to stay alive. And that's kind of, Marina, that's just a little bit about me. That I evaluate things and I just say, yeah, sorry.
So how do you prioritize your decisions when you are facing adversity from life, such as illness or lacking, or what is that you do? Is that you decide that you have something inside and focus on what you have, regardless what's happening around you, because what you have to give is more important than what you need. And you just bring yourself to a point where you are just giving, and you make your life purpose, giving away that gift you got for others, because you're born for a specific reason. And that specific gift, which is yours, it's yours alone, got your name on it. You have to embrace it, and you have to be strong and put yourself together and move on.
It's so true. A lot of people, we get caught up in kind of the whole negative energy, the who did me this, who wronged me, whose fault was it, and all of that. And I have come to this realization that actually that's a distraction. That's a total distraction of what is actually going on. Because once you understand your life purpose, the why you're here, and you focus on the one thing, it doesn't really matter who did what, right? It really does not matter who did what, because you need to focus on what is important to you. What is your message? Why are you here? Because at the end of the day, I normally say this, you give an account of your own life. You leave a legacy. You don't leave a legacy based on, who did what, who didn't give you an opportunity. It's based on your gift, because each and every person comes to this planet with a gift, and that gift is not for them to take and put in a jar and be looking at. Is actually a gift for them to give to the world. Whatever the gift you have is a solution to somebody's problem, and the longer you hold on to that gift, the longer you keep that gift, the longer you give excuses and you blame so many other people. The fact is, there's so many people suffering, waiting for the solution that you hold. Huge responsibility. It's a huge responsibility, but it's true.
Yes. So in effect, each one of us have to take responsibility for their own gift, package it in a way that is appealing to the audience, connect with the audience, and just pass on that solution. Because most people will think that, oh, wait a minute, why do I need to connect? It's enough. I have a great offer. I just give that away and people will pay me. But thinking that we live in this world where everything is available, you most of the time you could Google anything.
Yes.
I think what entrepreneurs miss to see is that attracting ideal clients is not about attracting because you have something. It's about connecting first and then give them the option so they can see that what you got is not only a product or the service, but they get that connection. We live in a very lonely planet and lonely world. So it's the style of life and all the connection we might have left behind home and are very make you feel most of the time disconnected from yourself. So to connect with other people, I feel that the very first step is to connect with yourself. So once you connect with yourself, is a different world of so the mistake I've seen in every single country I've been in the last 1,000 days is that people are keep thinking of their analyzing their past, and they're thinking they're going to be judged for the mistakes they made in the past. Where I used to say to them, look, get over it. Who cares? It's not, we still don't know who killed Kennedy. So why you are now still analyzing what you did last summer? You have to connect with yourself and connect with yourself in a profound way to see what you really got to give. Because focusing on your last mistake or failure, whatever you consider you did, which is not makes you feel that you are not good enough, it's actually blocking your self-development. So it's blocking you in a way that is so limiting that nobody can help you but yourself. So to connect with yourself, what would you recommend to somebody? Because you are really well connected inside. I can see that from everything you are providing and giving. And I just wonder what is that one secret you could give away for people to create a connection with themselves, to reunite themselves with who they are?
What would I say? Because a lot of the times, you see, when we go to school, we basically read books, right? Everything is about the book. And now we have evolved to Google. We have evolved to all these search engines. We have evolved whereby we're always looking for the answers outside, right? And I have come to this belief and understanding that everything I need to be what I was meant to be, I already have, right? And that has been demonstrated with some of the things that have happened in my life. And I'm questioning myself, like I'm saying, but I don't have that, which is what in my understanding qualifies me to be in that position, but yet I have it. And it's understanding that once you connect with yourself, which is on looking on the inside as opposed to looking for the answers on the outside, something amazing happens. You become attractive. You become attractive. Something changes. And so what I would say is that if you're looking for an answer in terms of the who you are outside, you're going to pay somebody to sit down and they can listen to you to tell you who you are. I can save you a lot of money and checking the post. You need to look for yourself inside of yourself, because you're made complete. God made you complete. And I sometimes I get goosebumps when I think about, nature, when I, think about creation, that a tree doesn't go around the forest asking for answers in terms of who am I. Right? The tree does what the tree does because it has everything it needs to flower, to basically mature the fruit, to actually bear seed. The whole process, it actually does it without having to go look for the trees. And I think once we first look on the inside in the who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you laugh, because we are all very different and we all have very unique gifts. And once you do that, it's amazing actually what happens. I was going to share with you a short story about I've been blessed to travel around the world a bit. And I remember many years ago going to Albania. When I went there, I went as part of a team and we had to learn Albanian. Okay. having come from Africa, speaking 3 languages there, and seeing tourists and people coming there and trying to speak Swahili, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so bad. I decided I was not going to learn Albanian. I was going to let the Albanians teach me the language as a way of connecting with the people. And so when we went there, I could probably speak about 2 words. I'm not afraid to make a fool of myself. I was there to connect with people. I was there to give them what I had. The person that never learned basically any Albanian ended up being like, I was befriending people with kids at school, with people's homes. I would go and sit and just allow the who I am to connect. It's almost like a spirit connection, to connect with them. And I would go there, make coffee, would have laugh, and speaking in Albanian, I'm speaking in English or Swahili, and it would be so funny. And that only happens when you are true to yourself, when you find that person that people connect with. If you're trying to be somebody else, guess what? It will never work. It will never work. You'll be wondering, what's this? You're building a wall because you're trying to be somebody else. You've got to be yourself, because when you're yourself, you connect with people. And sadly, having come from the corporate world, a lot of people are struggling with being themselves because there's an expectation of you have to fit this box. You have to fit this mold. And if you're anything outside of that, you will get a goodbye. And I think that's what I can share. I don't know whether I went a bit too far into that, but that's what I can share. That there's such, you have to connect with your inside. The answer lies within you, not outside in terms of the who you are.
So if I understand this correctly, you really, you are a great believer, and that comes through your actions and through your passion. And when you voice your passion with excitement and enthusiasm, something almost like extra power makes you look at things in a different way. And the trick there is not to change who you are, to stay who you are, but change the way you look at things. So yes, you gave us an example, which is very powerful, that you were looking down only to lift people up. So not looking down on people, but for lifting them up, it's lifting your own spirit. And that creates a different type of connection, not only with the outside world, but with yourself as well, because you feel that you are needed, you feel that you are helping somebody who otherwise will never be looked at, or somebody who makes it's part of this world, but somehow people are not looking at them, because for them it's only important what is their next connection with the next big contract or the next big person that is going to help them. Where we both know that actually every single one of us got the same powers. It's just a matter of allowing and unleashing those powers and empowering people around us, because otherwise the 99% will be forever within the 99% zone, and the 1% is too small. I'm not saying it's too small-minded. There are great people out there, but it's too much for them to step into the 99% and drag them into the 1%. So surely they turn their back on their own families and friends because they have to lead. So when you find a leader around you, which is being where you want to be already, knows the shortcut, you just need to go for it and ask questions and connect, and don't feel that you are less, because nobody is less unless they choose to be less. So it's all to do with your perception about yourself first and about the outside world. So to turn your life around and to connect with your clients, it's all about being ready to show your worth. So unless you show your worth, nobody is going to pay you.
Yeah, that is so true. And I just wanted to, sorry.
So I wanted to know, what do you think about understanding your worth, your personal worth, because usually people will refer at their assets and, you know, everything that is external, put a figure on it. What is that worth that everybody got inside and they don't know about it? How do you become aware of your own worth? In your own story, what happened when something happened and triggered something that you realize, actually, I'm a lot more than that. No, I'm not going to be treated this way. I am worth a lot more. I know my worth. Could you remember moments like this in your life?
Oh, I can remember moments. And the most interesting thing is this, that when people go through challenges in life, that's when they develop bitterness, because they always blame somebody else. And I call it the wilderness experience. And I believe so strongly that if you've never gone through hard times, you will never grow. Because you know what? I mean, you don't need to change. You know, you talked about, you know, loving the comfort zone, right? Which is basically the death zone, right? And the only thing that pushes you out of that comfort zone, it's nature's way of saying, I'm going to give you a chance to do something different, to be different, and shakes everything around you, you know, about. And sometimes it may come by somebody, it may come by a situation, it may come by a job, whichever way it comes, right? We focus too much on the way it came as opposed to what is this about? And over the years, I've been through what a lot of people would consider really challenging times, really tough times. But I thank God for each one of those times, because it's in those times I have discovered my worth. It's if you, I don't know, you know, like if you're an athlete, right? Until you persevere and get that medal, right? Sunday, your value is still exactly what it was. But the minute you get that medal, you win and you get that medal, guess what? Your value goes up. And challenges are like that. When you go through something, you focus on your own strength and you focus on how you can get out of that situation as opposed to who was involved. Your worth goes up. And I remember going through probably one of the worst, Charlie, the most tough thing that I cannot even begin to share, right? How tough it was. It challenged everything that I was. It challenged God, who I strongly believe in, right? And it was in that moment when I was absolutely desperate and I needed to really see God that I realized that I had built 4 walls. You talked about thinking, you know, thinking outside of the box. Of course, you can't think outside of the box if you've created a box, because how can you think outside? If you think of a cardboard box, right? If you're in a box, how can you think outside of the box when you can't see outside the box? You know what I mean? And I realized that I had created a box for myself that I lived in, and everything had to be within the box. But then what that meant, that everything else outside, including God, or, you know, the powers that I believed were bigger than me, had to be within the limitations of my box, right? So if you have a box that is 2 by 2, anything that is 10 by 10 or 20 by 20 is big. So, you know, you can even, you know, put God in a box, but he's in a bigger box, so he's still bigger than you. And it was in that moment when I realized the only way that I was going to come out of this situation, right, is to do things differently. Scary things, ways that I'd never done before. I had to do things different, and therefore I had to break out of the box. And it became a very frightening moment because everything else became bigger. So the way I had limited God, I could not limit God anymore because I'm out of the box. So God had to be bigger. So everything else around me had to be bigger. And I couldn't go back in the box. But the beauty of it all, I overcame the challenges that I was going through. And what was amazing is, like, it was then I looked around me to things that I'd been living with and putting up with for a while. And I suddenly thought, I am worth a whole lot more than this. I deserve a whole lot more than this. And that changed everything for me. Wow. I don't know whether that answers your question in the nutshell.
I mean, yeah. It's always the story that people share that makes me think how I can address a certain need I have in my own mind, how I can fulfill a certain passion that I have. Just thinking of the people who made the distance, not the mile, not the extra mile, the whole difference in their life by making the distance from where they were to where they belong. So tell me, Sarah, do you feel now you are an author, you've been awarded the Hollywood Authors Award, you are going to step on the red carpet, you are going to walk on the red carpet, and a storm of opportunities are coming your way, an abundance of high connections, and people from media are connecting with you. You become a star overnight. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel inside? Now that you arrived, now that you landed, now that you have your own radio station, and you know that is your divine job to help other people to discover who they are, to migrate from the 99% into the 1%. How that makes you feel inside?
It's wow. It's a huge responsibility, but it's humbling. Humbling in that I connect with a lot of people because I've done the journey from Africa to Hollywood, and it has had its challenges. It required me to believe so much and to really, what's the word? Kind of break the status quo in order to be where I am today. And I can only kind of just receive that and say, of course, it's going to be challenging. But one of the things that I recognize is this: you don't lead people facing them or being with them, right? You're a leader walking away from the people, showing them the way, the where to go. And if I cannot be the pioneer, if I cannot be walking, saying this is the way we need to go, right? I'm not going to help anybody. If I'm just going to sit and be who I was and where I was because it's comfortable, because I fit in, because I'm conforming to whatever is expected of me as an African woman, as a woman, as whatever other titles that I wear, right? I'm not going to help anybody. And so therefore, I have to look forward and actually say, this is the way. This is the way to go. And, you know, the opportunity of having a radio station is having the platform to bring people to say, okay, you've got a story. Here's a platform where you can share your story. Being able to have speaking engagements and connect with so many people is actually, I'm not creating opportunities for myself because I'm only one person. I'm creating opportunities for those people that connect with me, for those people that believe that it is possible, for those people that want to connect with themselves and make a difference and give out their gift to the world because there's somebody who is watching them. There's somebody who needs what it is that they have. So those people who are not kind of just looking just to hold for themselves and just keep, I'm ready to connect with them and say, okay, this is the way we are going. And when they face the struggles, I can say, yeah, you know, I've been there. But, you know, you can get through this because I know I got through that. And you have it in you. You have everything in you to overcome anything that you will ever face. But you've got to believe it. So that's me getting really passionate about this.
Yes, I know I shouldn't get you started, but so we both believe that instead of chasing opportunities all your life and focusing on what you don't have, so you could go out there and chase what you don't have, you focus on what you already got. And you, by sharing what you got, become the opportunity. Yes. So is your radio station stage? Is your radio station a platform? Is where you put the foundation for the edification for these great people of significance who want to make a significant difference in their life and leave a legacy behind? People from the private sector who they don't have the system. They got everything else, but the system to become the opportunity. Because I experienced that at my own events when people come along, they are thinking they're going to write a book, and I'm telling them, no, it's not about writing a book. It's nothing to do with writing a book. So we start from scratch. We start thinking with the end in mind and thinking, what is that you want? What is that you want to give on stage? Because when you go on that stage, you go there to give. You are not going there to take anything. So it's not that you can't engage with audience. Of course, you can engage with your audience, but you already attracted the right audience. So these people need your solution. They need your tools. They need to know the shortcut is, and the book is just the signature talk. So what they are saying when they're in front of their audience, their ideal clients, because I help them create their unique selling formula, and I help them create their own offer, which it's so appealing and it's so bespoke exactly for a certain niche of the market. And I help them craft their message. And the way we go next is we develop that message into a story, and that could very well be published on Amazon, because that takes a few minutes, really. So those days it is so easy to publish your own story and inspire people to be a lot more. But actually what people don't realize is that unless you make that book go the right direction, go north for your clients, unless you talk you got in that book, nothing is going to happen. They will expect they will become rich overnight, and because they write the wrong book. So what I'm teaching them is, and sharing with them, I'm not teaching anything new actually, I'm just sharing my own experience. Once I start sharing my own story and creating, sharing the solution for a certain challenge, I realize that this is what people need. They need that specific knowledge. Is specialized knowledge. It's not general knowledge. So when you write that message, that 30-second message, and then you develop into a 3-minute message, and then you develop that into a story, you really have to have in mind what is going to do for your clients. And it's like, I was thinking today that I love water, but I love water because without water I can't have coffee. So imagine what my day would be without coffee. So it's the same with the way we structure our own message, and the way we use the water to put in the ingredients, tea or coffee. I know you're in England, lots of people are drinking tea there. So so it's all to do with what you use the water for. So speaking to me is like coffee with, the book is to me like coffee without water. So people think they're not, they have to go through a long process and remortgage their house and learn how to speak. And but actually to me that's such a mystery. How can you even consider you can't speak? You need to speak. I mean, you remember a few years ago when you told me that your dream is to speak. I thought, what's wrong with you? What do you mean to learn to speak? You speak so beautifully and you got a gift already. Why do you need to learn? What is that to learn about? Like it was a mystery to me. And then because I'm totally new to the industry of speaking, and I even now I don't understand what people mean by paying £30,000 to undertake a speaking program. To me, it's like, what? Why? So, to me, speaking is about asking yourself 3 questions. Can you speak to yourself? So, if you can speak to yourself, you are a speaker. You have that one conversation with yourself, finding out what is that you are about, and ask yourself the right question. Ask yourself better questions. It's all about the question you are asking yourself. And then the second one is, can you speak to your friends? Can you make them laugh? So if you can make your friends laugh, you are a great speaker.
Yeah.
Because why would you consider your clients are not your friends? They want the connection. They won't be attracted to anyone unless they have the connection. It's more to life than just a transaction, a one-off transaction. When you look at your client and you feel that, he's my client, she's my client, is going to pay me one-off transaction, that's it. Well, guess what? I want more. I want a lot more, actually, as a client. I want not to be closed, because that's very offensive. I want not to be sold, because that's offensive. I want to be opened a door. I want you as my supplier, my coach, my lawyer, my whoever you are that I need your services or your products. I want you to open the door for me and let me make the choice to enter or not. But open the door for me. Don't slam the door in my face. So, as I said, why would you consider that your clients are not your friends? Of course, they are not your friends you go home with.
Yeah.
But they are the friends who rely on you because they look up to you and they feel you are their star. And you shine, even they don't see you all the time during daytime. You shine on a dark sky. When they need you, you are there. When it's dark for them, you are there. You are shining. You got a solution for them. So then the third question you ask yourself is, wow, I'm speaking to myself. I'm good at that. I got to be good at that. I'm speaking to my friends. I make them laugh. I'm a good speaker. So when I'm a worthy speaker, when I'm a rich speaker, when can I make my living from speaking on stage? Well, it's very simply. When you connect with your audience and when you inspire them to take action, then you are a worthy, rich speaker. So when people are thinking that they cannot speak and they cannot broadcast their passion, when I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I never learned English. How on earth can you tell me that's an excuse? To develop your signature talk, or to publish your story, or to have your own mastermind or your events and hold them internationally and touch the lives of others, all in need, it's you. To be seen, to be heard, all you have to do is to be present. Unless you are present when the transfer of ideas or words or thoughts or whatever it is that you are giving away, you are not there, guess what? Everybody notices that. Everybody knows. You are not there. You are just selling something. All you want is some money. All you want is to take something away. It's not about giving. We live in a world which is so sophisticated, and it's all about online this, online that, and because the offline world is so expensive to reach out. And as an entrepreneur, you are wearing all the time that invisible hat. So of course we discover that depending on where we are in where I am in my own journey, and I discovered tools which are available for people like myself, people over 50s who never had the chance to live their life, people who actually had no choice but to retire, or they're about to retire, and then they're going to ask themselves, what's next? Because I asked that question myself, and I know it's a very dark place. So I feel like I'm in a dark room. So then what I've done, I developed myself. I was like a picture was taken and kept in the camera, inside, the old style of pictures. So I'm old-fashioned. Sorry, I don't apologize for that, actually. I love the way I am. So I felt that I'm that picture who's never been developed. And unless I got into that dark room, I could not even think about my true colors. I could not even imagine who I am. And when I was really in that moment in my life, and I thought, okay, I done it all. I raised my children. They have a business now. And actually, I have a house, I have children, I have everything I wished for, but I don't have a life. I had nothing to show that I made the real difference. Everybody can have a house, everybody have kids, everybody got dogs, everybody's creating a business. But was that really making me feel successful? Why I felt I don't have a life? Why I felt that is absolutely nothing left for me? And I had no idea what's next. I thought I'm finished. I thought that that's it. It's nothing else. Nobody needs me anymore. All lights. So that feeling, when you go into the dark room and there is nothing next, you can't see anything else because you've done it all and you've left with nothing. That moment is when you decide to be more. And I want people who are listening to understand that they think they got it. No, they got a lot more. A lot more. There is a lot more. They never scratch the surfaces of who they are. And that's my point. My point is that be present, be seen, be heard. Go on Sarah's radio show, get interviews. There are ways of, is this extraordinary team deal with the media, and they give you all the tools, how to be interviewed, how to organize your PR, and how to find even top secret email addresses for journalists all over the world from more than 100 major newspapers. So reach out for a larger audience. Reach out and make that a statement. Make your presence a statement. Be newsworthy. Become bigger than you imagine right now. Because once people start connecting with you and people are coming to you, they will want more. So you have to be not only camera ready, but you have to be ready to give them more. And guess what? You are an abundant person. What is coming, whatever you got, your gift is coming from, there is a lot more there. Trust me. The more you give, the more is coming. It's just amazing. Is like being this perpetuum mobile inside, and it's just a matter of keep giving and keep the momentum going. It's mastering your unique talent. And Sarah, you did master your unique talent in a brilliant way. For me, you are the agent of brilliancy and a lot more. And you are the president of Academy of Significance Africa, and you are connecting with people from all the countries in Africa, and together we are creating a community for them where they could bring along their own gifts, their own talents, and they could share their calling. And that is such a massive project. And we've been working tireless on this. And I know that your radio station is going to be a huge platform for people who want to voice their passion with excitement and enthusiasm. And they want to attract the audience who need their solution to a specific problem or challenge, because they got the specialized knowledge to that specific challenge. So what would you say to these people coming to share their own story on your radio show? What would you advise them to be next so they could reach out to a larger audience?
They need, I would probably say they need to connect themselves, because a lot of people, and I mean, you've covered quite a lot in everything that you've just said. And one of the things that I realized and what holds us back is what we think to be true, but it not being true. You see, I wasn't, even with all my struggles, I was still moving forward, because I always believe there's always more. There's always more. And it's not because I'm not content. It's not because I'm not content. but it's because I believe there is so much more. And the people, wherever you are on your journey, you've got to believe there is so much more, and you've got to believe that you have what it takes. It's not like something that you're going to acquire and to pay this and to do this, and after that you'll be there. Okay, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Until then, I went backwards to actually find myself and realize what I was looking for was me, and I was always there, right? And it's the people who are probably, I don't know, you've done a journey and you've probably, like myself, struggled. As Marina said, I met her and I said, oh yeah, I'd like to be a speaker. And she looks at me like I'm an alien. Like, what are you talking about? You already speak. But we talk about that we do our own thinking. One of those challenging things that has challenged me in terms of a teaching is being able to think for myself. Literally being able to think for myself. What does that mean? So I've been speaking probably in terms of like publicly since I was probably about 5 or 6. In church setting, in other settings, I'm the kid who will memorize. I'm blessed with an amazing memory, and I can memorize text upon text. And this allowed me to be on stage competing. So I would compete on poetry. I would compete all through my school life. I was always on stage. Even after I had a children's group with about 600 kids, 500-600 kids. I was the leader. I was the one representing them. I was doing all these things publicly on stage. Yet I come back, join the corporate, do the whole corporate thing all the way to the top. I'm a negotiator by profession. I'm dealing with CEOs of companies where basically we're going through tender process, big deals, right? And at the end of that, I'm actually saying, I need to be a speaker. There's a disconnect.
And you want to learn to speak?
And I want to pay somebody, right? It's how ridiculous is that? You're somebody who deals with millions of pounds, but in one sitting, you're speaking like to CEOs of companies, the senior executives of companies. Those are the people you're dealing with. And yet you're saying, I need to learn how to speak, and I'm going to pay somebody to teach me how to speak, right? But you know what it is? You're laughing, but you know what? Because there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between that person out there doing all those things and the person that is actually me. We almost separate the two people. And if you're that person, you're searching on one course, from this course to the next, you're looking for something. I'd like you to connect with me because I've got something to share with you. Yeah.
Sarah Lista is going to share a lot more with us after the break. So for now, the soulmate that seldom speaks. Thank you, Sarah. See you in a few minutes.
Okay, see you in a minute.
Someone to hold, who knows how to love you.
You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians, creative people and media experts are empowered and inspired to broadcast their passion. SpeakOnRadio.com is a radio platform that has you in mind, bringing you not only inspiration, but practical solutions and opportunities to release your greatness. Tune in now at SpeakOnRadio.com. That is SpeakOnRadio.com.
And we are back with Sarah Lister speaking the simple truth and how to connect with your ideal clients. We're talking about the process that is a very expensive process of putting your, apparently, or it used to be an expensive process of putting out your message. And we put together a couple of tools, couple of extraordinary people and their energy and their passion to give you the shortcut that allows you to connect with your ideal clients. I was listening to Sarah and I forgot to have a break. I should give you more music, but she is so passionate about, and I could not stop listening to her story. So I do apologize for not giving you the music break before. So Sarah, are you back?
I'm back.
Yes. So tell us more.
Yeah, no, I was saying in terms of, because I know the journey and I know some of the crazy struggles, as I've just explained. Here I was, on one hand, I've come from, I live in a world where I'm dealing with like multi-million pounds. And at the same time, I'm making the statement that I want to learn how to speak. And, I'm leading meetings, I'm leading teams. It's like, and that's what I was saying. Sometimes we have a disconnect. And this is what I was saying before, that we grow up with this kind of man's mindset that the answer is always outside. It's always somebody else. And we don't look at ourselves as like the answer lies within me. So when I get to this stage in my life, because as I said, there's always more, and I'm always aspiring to be more. I don't stop. So I get and I think, okay, so what's next? And I'm always doing that. And because the process in most cases has always, I'm a great believer in personal development. I will go do a course. I will understand what is required and I will go and do it. Unbeknown to me that a lot of the success that I've had in my life was actually based on who I am and my passion, and that whole thing of you're connecting with people. You said earlier that, people don't care how much you know if you don't care about them. And connecting with people means you must be connected with yourself first. And so here I was, and I was saying, if you're going on that journey, right, you're already responsible where you are. You're already doing good things in your job or as an entrepreneur, yet you feel that you need to go and pay for this and pay for that. I'm not saying don't pay for any cost, because, people don't value with that which they get for free. I'd love to connect with you because we have a platform that will give you the exposure, that will give you the platform for you to get your message out. Because one of the things I was crying for and I was sitting around strategizing is how I was going to get on stage. And it seemed like wherever I turned, there was a closed door. It was almost like impossible to get there. How do you get there? How do I get my message out? Get for you. Because I know the pain and I know how frustrating it can be. And so if you got a message, you got a passion, you got a story, you got a solution you have for somebody else that will help somebody else, I would love to hear from you. And you connect with me on speakonradio.com, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm always online and I'm ready to give what I have, because it's a gift to the world. It's a gift to you, so you can give your gift to the world. If that makes sense, Marina.
A lot of sense to me. What makes me who I am are my beliefs and my own experiences. So that's why I believe that having the right experiences, exposing yourself to the right experiences can modify your beliefs. Actually, the whole philosophy behind my belief that you have a message, put it out there, go out there, be present, be seen, be heard, be present, is simply because you have to open your mind into situation and experiences who are going to hit a different set of feelings inside. Because you see, people can talk to you about anything. They can tell you that I've been on the moon, I've been the casino, I've been but unless you go there, actually go there, have that experience yourself, it's very hard for the other person, the person in front of you, to understand what the fuss is about. So yes, when I created this free live experience on the red carpet, it's purely because before I experienced that myself, I would not even consider, I would not even accommodate the thought of being out there, because I thought that's for celebrities, that's for people who are recognized already. Who is going to recognize me? I'm an entrepreneur. Who is going to recognize me? Who needs me? And the fact that I got feeling, and that stayed with me, and it's something absolutely nobody can take away from me.
Yeah, yeah.
That changed the pattern. So I'm telling my mind now, I've been there, I've done that, I can do it each day. I could do it. That's my way of life. So it's not about what other people think about me. It's not about judge me or not. I really don't care. All I know is that I had an experience. I gave a lot to thousands of people in the last 1,000 days. Yes. And what I was missing before in my life for decades, it wasn't the fact that I knew less, or what I knew or I didn't know, or the money I had or I didn't have. It was nothing. It wasn't external. It was all inside. They were my own experiences deciding my beliefs. So the moment I changed the experience, all by accident, when I was dragged on stage in front of almost 10,000 people on the same stage, very same stage where President Bill Clinton was speaking from, imagine that, what that created for me, a new pattern. That experience unveiled a new person, because my dream was always to go places, meet new people, and guess what? Meeting all these new people and going to all around the world in the last 1,000 days, I've been working on 4 continents. I actually, not only that I had new experiences, I met extraordinary people, but I met a person I never met before, and that's myself. So I know that person is inside you, wherever you are right now and listening. If you want to take something away with you, take this. There is somebody inside you that needs to come out, needs to be allowed to be out. Nobody can do that but yourself. Absolutely nobody can create that connection within. And it's all about, once you expose yourself to a form of opportunity, an abundance of high connections are coming your way. And the more you give, the more is coming. And it's not about the bad experiences you had before. It's about the new experiences who allow new people coming your way. And you turn your back, like Sarah said, you turn your back on what you are leaving behind, so they will have a choice to follow you or stay behind. They will be left behind for a reason. Don't worry about that. In the airplane, when the plane is about to crash, and life is many times that way, and it's been that way many times in my own life, when the first thing you do, you put the oxygen marks on yourself so you can help the others. If you put the oxygen mask on the others, you'll never have enough strength to help the others, and they will be left by themselves. So think about that. Why strengthening your knowledge, your passion, your feelings, your experiences, what that could create for the people you love? What is that going to bring about in your own life? So you could inspire other people to be more, a lot more, because they'll think, oh, if Marina can, I definitely can. And for sure you can. I'm a strong believer. If nobody believes in you, I'm here and I believe in you. And
yes,
Sarah, I know you experienced this yourself. And I would never drop my belief in any of my clients or friends. I can't help it. I just see something in you and I know it's there. And sometimes I'll give you time to come out by yourself. Sometimes I won't. I'll just make like a birth certificate. I'll show it to you and say, it's here. This is your birth certificate. Are you going to come out or not? What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Because the wait is over. The wait is over, and it's so much available out there. I experienced it all myself. I'm sharing everything with you. I'm sharing in a way that is not a lecture. It's not, I'm just sharing from my heart. And I want to reach out to you, to who you are, wherever you are, and understand that you are more, a lot more than you ever thought you could be.
Yep.
And there is a platform, there is a stage. There are opportunities for you to become the opportunity. What's stopping you? Thank you, Sarah Lista. You've been an inspiration. You are the most extraordinary friend I ever had. I believe that your journey is about to start. And I believe that you are ready. And you are born ready, but you are ready to inspire millions of people around the world. So they could be more and they could be better and they could expose themselves to that storm of opportunities which is coming their way. Yes. Don't hide in front of storming opportunities. They hold abundance of everything, abundance of happiness, abundance of wealth and feelings that make you understand your worth. Thank you, Sarah Lista. You've been an absolute delight, and the world is not enough without you. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. But before you go, I'd love to say a very, very happy birthday. It's a very special day for you and for you to be on the air, on Speak on Radio on your birthday. It's an honor. You are a true friend and you're a true great believer in people. You're not just saying it, it's what you live and that's who you are. And that's what we all need, somebody who believes in us and will not give up on us when we give up on ourselves. Thank you so much, Marina.
That's not an option, Sarah. I never give up.
You never give up. Even when we give up on ourselves, you still keep going. And thank you so much for being you.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians, creative people and media experts are empowered and inspired to broadcast their passion. SpeakOnRadio.com is a radio platform that has you in mind, bringing you not only inspiration, but practical solutions and opportunities to release your greatness. Tune in now at SpeakOnRadio.com. That is SpeakOnRadio.com. You are listening to SpeakOnRadio.com. Be seen, be heard, be present. The place where entrepreneurs, business owners, speakers, authors, actors, politicians,